is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Fox. We are Florida.
Road trip time, Miami to Seattle. From South Beach to Puget Sound. Sunshine and linen to overcast and flannel. Giancarlo and the squad have hit the West Coast. In Seattle tonight, it's Marlins and Mariners, and it's late night with the Fish. It is late night with the Fish. A little late night traffic in downtown Seattle. I-5 cuts right through downtown and right next to Safeco Field. And it's a three-gamer that starts tonight on the corner of Edgar Martinez Drive. You have Ken Griffey Jr. standing tall, and folks from Hialeah and all over South Florida come to see the Fish, the Mariners, and Ichiro, a legend here in Seattle. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. It's a change in coast, a change in time zone, a change in climate. But Miami is hopeful they don't change anything about the way they played in that Mets series.
Well, it was a happy flight yesterday. We know that. 3,000 miles between Miami and Seattle. But this team is roaring right now, and I'm willing to bet that nothing's going to stand in their way. The way they've been playing baseball right now, it's been collective, and 3,000 miles, it's in the past.
How about this? Miami had the first National League Player of the Week in JT Realmuto, and they have the second. Marcell Ozuna today was named National League Player of the Week, and boy, does he deserve it. Great homestand and some big hits.
Oh, my goodness gracious, the big hits. I talk about it a lot. You'll continue to hear me talk about it all season long. So much damage with 2 outs, runners in scoring position. You see the home runs right there. All fields, left field, right field, grand slams, doing it all. Well-deserved. You see the numbers. 4 homers, 12 RBIs, 18 on the season. That leads all of baseball.
How about defense, though? Because Ozuna's shift to left field, his arm plays well out there.
Oh, he has been so good. You see the throw right there. Great throw. Little bit up the line, but great job by A.J. Ellis right there to get back and get Cespedes. It's the throw that's on time. That's how you get him. He's been fantastic. Some great catches, including this dandy. Got himself to the wall, climbed the wall, and able to keep it in the yard. That's what you want to see. He has been on his game, partner.
So Ozuna in the lineup. Of course, it's an American League. Marlins have the DH. And yes, Ichiro is playing. Ichiro in the 9 spot is going to be in left field. Ozuna the DH. And Tom Kohler is on the mound. And Tom Kohler is trying to avoid a delay. Let's see. His first start, it was rain. His next start, it was power. Kohler gets the ball to open up the road trip.
Well, I'm really excited for this start. Again, this is kind of a fun game. Both starters have really no history against the other team. So this is who is the better team right now and how are they playing? Tom Kohler's been locked in, throwing lots of strikes. I expect that to be the case tonight.
That's right, and he's facing a team that's hot right now with some big bats. Robbie Cano and Nelson Cruz. That's the night the lights went out. And anytime Claude Delorme makes the open, you know you're in good hands. Ariel Miranda, the lefty for Seattle, a Cuban, and he lives in South Florida, lives in Miramar.
Yeah, he does. Well, you know what? I think this is still a very favorable matchup for the Marlins. He's got some bad numbers, some awkward splits. Lefties have good numbers against him. Doesn't have the greatest slider. So 4 lefties in the lineup tonight. We'll see what the Fish can get done.
3-city tour on this road trip. It starts in Seattle tonight. Jessica Blaylock, when we get back, talks to the skipper, Don Mattingly, about the combinations in his lineup. It's Miami and Seattle, and it's coming up. here in Seattle. Ichiro coming out of the dugout, being honored for his 3,000th hit. Of course, over 2,500 of those hits were as a Seattle Mariner. John Stanton, Howard Lincoln, and many of the Mariner brass, along with Edgar Martinez and some of his teammates when he was a Mariner here as well. Really nice moment. Crowd, the city abuzz with Ichiro back. He was here in 2014 with the Yankees and hasn't been back since. Let's go down to the field. Jessica Blaylock. Hi, Jess.
Hey, Rich. From day one, Don Mattingly has said that if the Marlins are going to be successful, they can't rely on one guy night in and night out. Well, the Fish are currently 7-5 to start the season, and a big reason why, they're winning games as a team. Each night, a different player is stepping up, and for Mattingly, he says that's a good thing.
Well, obviously, this last weekend was pretty good. It was a really good series. And we've gotten contributions from different guys, and I think that's what's important for us, is that it isn't a, there's a number of guys that are really good players here. You're not all going to be hot at the same time. You're going to always have guys that are cold, but you're just hoping that your guys just kind of keep fighting and giving good at-bats and putting pressure on the pitcher.
And right now, the Marlins, a very confident team, having just taken 3 of 4 against the Mets. They will look to keep that momentum going here in Seattle. When we return, it is first pitch between the Marlins and the Mariners. The Fish traveled 2,700 miles to get here. Now they are looking for a win.
Ready for baseball? Late night with the Fish here in Seattle. D. Gordon, Martin Prado, taking a look at Ariel Miranda. Miami's lineup looks this way tonight. And it's brought to you by Southwest. Gordon was red hot against the Mets. Martin Prado's first action of the year. Christian Yelich, Giancarlo Stanton. National League Player of the Week is Marcell Ozuna. Last week it was JT Realmuto. Justin Boers at first base. Miguel Rojas at short, and Ichiro is in left field. Marcell Ozuna doing the DHing in this American League game. And the Seattle Mariners going with lefty Ariel Miranda. He's 28. He pitched 7 years in Cuba.
You see the numbers right there. He's made a pair of starts against the Houston Astros. 5.06 ERA, 10 2/3, 5 walks, 9 strikeouts, 3 home runs. Has issues. He's got those reverse splits. Some issues with left-handed hitters more than the righties.
Kind of floats that one in there at 91. A strike to D. Gordon. Marty Foster calling balls and strikes. Mike Winters, Mark Wagner, Mike Malinsky Your umpiring quartet in the Northwest on a crisp night. Not chilly, but crisp right now. And the roof is closed. There's rain in the area, as there usually is this time of year. It is an open air ballpark, even though the roof is like a giant carport, is the best way to describe it. And here's the weather outside. There's CenturyLink Field, home of the Seahawks. 52 degrees, 91% humidity, cold and rainy. Roof is shut. Gordon with a count 2-1. And Miranda. It's fouled off the foot of D. Gordon. Gordon in that Mets series was on base a lot. He had 3 hits yesterday in another thrilling game. Todd, all 4 games of the Mets series were nail biters, and that's what D did in the last 3 games of that series.
Well, you see the numbers, 462, 6 for 13. It was as if coming off the road, getting back home, got him going again. It certainly served its purpose. Great swings throughout the series and some big ones as well.
2-2. Fastball, ground ball up the middle. Cano quickly to first in time to get Gordon. Robinson Cano, a Gold Glover out there at second base. Speaking of Seattle's defense, here they are.
Yeah, let's take a look at Seattle Mariners defense. Left field, you got Dyson. Jonas Martinez in center field. Mitch Haniger, boy, is he off to a great start for the Mariners. He's out in right field. Seager, Mater has been outstanding since replacing Gene Segura. Cano, Robinson Cano, Danny Valencia, Mike Zunino. Miranda is on the mound.
There's been a Martin Prado sighting, and he's here in Seattle. He's playing third and he's hitting second, and it's great to have the Marlins leader back. Prado, a hamstring injury in the World Baseball Classic. Don Mattingly has him back. 12 games missed, and a good time to be back. The club 2 over, having won 3 straight. And Prado takes out.
Well, in a good rhythm today. Spent a lot of time down in the dugout today just watching Prado. I wanted to watch him work, wanted to see how he was moving around on the field during batting practice, and it was as if he was in midseason form.
Two and 1. Prado last year, a .305 average, .359 on base. He slugged .417, 37 doubles. He played in 153 games. It's his best statistical season in 5 years. Pop up, first base side, and foul. And it's Valencia, the University of Miami product, who was there to make the catch. All right, Auto Nation brings you the scouting report on this 28-year-old lefty out of Havana.
Well, I told you guys, you see that right there, the scouting report, mostly fastballs and changeups. That's because the slider is still a bit of a work in progress. The 28-year-old really has not been able to develop one. Now, he's got a good fastball and he's got a good changeup and also throws a splitty. But you see that 7 years, Cuba's Sierra Nacional. That is where he is from. That is the team that he was on. Defected from Cuba. He's actually in the Baltimore Orioles organization last year. Came over in a trade. He's got a good arm, and I'm not sure how he's going to project long-term with the Mariners, but he is in this rotation right now. Drew Smiley is dealing with an injury, so he's picked up a few starts early to go here in the 2017 season.
Here's Christian Yelich, and Yelich takes a fastball that misses. The count is 1 ball and 1 strike. Yelich in a dozen games really has yet to get rolling average-wise, but 13 runs for Yelich leads the National League. So he's been on base a lot and he's scored a lot. And he flips that one into the seats.
Well, the quality of Christian Yelich's at bats has been there. I know the batting average is not a great indicator right now, but it's always early. A 3 for 4 is that's going to change everything this early in the season. But again, you see him working the counts, working deep counts at times, fighting off tough pitches, and still coming through with some big hits.
1-2. Yelich cracks one out to short. That's Taylor Motter of Palm Beach Gardens on over to first. And Yelich is out, underway in Seattle, and a scoreless ball game. And he gets the start tonight for Miami. And this is a lineup that he'll be looking at. Now, Seattle is 5-8, but they've won 3 straight. They swept Texas this weekend. And a dramatic come-from-behind win yesterday. Gerard Dyson, lots of speed and left. Mitch Haniger is on an absolute tear. Southwest Airlines presents Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager, Taylor Motter, and shortstop. Danny Valencia is at first. Leonis Martin out in center. And Mike Zunino, former Gator, is behind the plate, and he hits ninth. And here's Kohler making start number 3.
Yeah, 3.27 ERA. You see the good start to the season that he's had so far. And I think what's so interesting about this ball game tonight is that, we always have knowledge about the other team. We always have experience. We look at numbers. We always love to crunch those numbers and get into history. There is like virtually no history between the starting pitchers and these ball clubs. I mean, we are kind of in an environment right now where knowledge will be gained as this game goes on. So you settle in. I think you're going to see a little bit of a pitcher's duel, at least early in this one.
Seattle hadn't scored a lot of runs early in the season until lately. And one of the reasons they're hoping that Gerard Dyson can get on base at a little better clip than he is. He comes in hitting at just 200. Mitch Haniger behind him is hot. Dyson, longtime Kansas City Royal. And Kohler has missed on all 3 here, and it's 3-0.
Yeah, that has been the issue with the Mariners so far in their first 2 weeks of baseball, is the inconsistency with their offense. They're still looking to get Cano, Cruz, and Seager going there in the middle of their lineup.
Well, Kohler misses on all 4 pitches and walks Dyson to open the game. Defensively, Miami has been just terrific defensively this year, especially on that infield.
Absolutely outstanding. I think it's 21 games now without an error. Ichiro Suzuki gets the start in left field tonight. Christian Yelich, Carlos Stanton will be in right field. Martin Prado, welcome back. Rojas, D. Gordon, for Real Muto, Tom Kohler on the mound.
Well, here is Haniger, and it's not a name that's really familiar to a lot of people in baseball, but he is off to a great start. He is a rookie, though he played with Arizona in 34 games last year. 26-year-old, and he was originally a Brewers draft pick out of Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, traded to Arizona in the Gerardo Parra trade, and then traded to Seattle with Gene Segura in the Taijuan Walker trade. General Manager and Vice President Jerry Dipoto targeted this guy as a guy that he thought had a big upside, and tried to sprinkle in some youth into what is somewhat of a veteran core with Cano and Cruz and even Seager at third base.
And he's off to a fantastic start. Robbed a home run yesterday, brought it back. Big 3-run home run, got them back in the ball game against Cole Hamels. Leading the team in home runs right now out of that 2 spot in the lineup. And it's interesting, as I mentioned, Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, Kyle Seager really are still kind of trying to get going. The guys that have been carrying them offensively, Haniger and Motter, who has been called up playing for Gene Segura when he went on the disabled list, they've been playing pretty well. So you mentioned in the open, this is an incredibly talented team that has not really hit its stride. Marlins are looking to come in here and do some damage before they wake up.
Dyson from first. Kohler's 1-1. And a high pop that's going to end up in the seats. Now, this is Safeco Fields, and it opened in 1999. It's a pitcher's park, although the dimensions have been changed a couple of times. The outfield straight up 401. Biggest change in right center. Now at 380, 376 in left center. So as this season, or this ballpark has evolved, they've brought the seats in a little closer in right center, left center, and center field. Dyson leaning on a 1-2 pitch. He bluffs, and a breaking ball is strike 3 called. Down goes Haniger, and maybe Dyson bluffing at first may have disrupted Mitch Haniger.
Well, certainly got his attention. Let's take another look at it. See this breaking ball right over the top, that little knuckle curve ball, able to drop it right in the zone. I think he was just absolutely fooled by it. At the top of the zone, he kind of tracked it, but as it entered the zone, he gave up on it, and that's why you didn't see the swing there with 2 strikes. Great pitch by Mr. Kohler.
When he signed here, Robinson Cano, a lot of people scratched their head and said, why would you want to go from New York into Seattle? And Robinson Cano, who got obviously a nice contract, has been quite happy here. His 4th season in Seattle. He's put up nice numbers. Last year he popped 39 homers, 33 doubles, drove in 103. So it's been a nice fit in Seattle.
Very nice contract. I think his agent Jay-Z told him it would be a good idea to be up here.
Good for Jay-Z.
That's right. Good for Robinson Cano.
Well, the Mariners have used Cano to try to build around as kind of that foundational franchise player, and they've done a nice job of it, adding Nelson Cruz to the mix. It has helped Kyle Seager develop and blossom.
They went through a very dry period just a handful of years ago where they were having a hard time bringing offensive players to the Emerald City up here to Seattle to play, just because the numbers started to work in an opposite direction. You know, we talked about the fences and, you know, hitting home runs. When I was a player, and, you know, when Jeff Nelson, our great Jeff Nelson, in the pregame show, we were, you know, talking about this, you know, when he was here, they were a great pitching and offensive team. They hit for homers, they hit for power, they scored runs, and all of a sudden, right around the turn 2000, 2001, 2002, they kind of started to get away from that, where the offense started to disappear. And there was this dry period where the organization was having a hard time even bringing in free agents to Seattle.
And of course, you saw Edgar Martinez, the great Edgar Martinez, who was such a force on teams that included Ken Griffey Jr. and Alex Rodriguez. They were one of the epicenters of Major League Baseball for about a 7 or 8 year window, when Lou Piniella was their skipper, and they were going to the postseason. That fastball up, and it's 1-2. There's Edgar's spot out there in left field. He's done a really nice job as the hitting coach here. Of course, they just unveiled the Ken Griffey Jr. statue outside the ballpark this weekend.
Beautiful statue. Sweet swing.
And people around here are hopeful that maybe last year was a sign of things to come. They won 86 games. Dyson still at first. Kohler chases him back. And they count 1-2.
Well, worth noting, this Mariners team, as it struggled offensively, has been putting guys in motion. They're actually 12 for 13 in stolen bases already this season. Dyson has a few to his ledger already. Got Service willing to get guys in motion, especially when the offense has been scuffling as it has been.
Second-year manager Scott Service, a catcher in the big leagues, was in player development for the Angels and the Rangers before getting this job. Dyson again leaning, not running, on a 1-2, and Cano blasts it foul way up into the seats.
Robinson Cano out in front of an off-speed pitch.
One ball, two strikes.
You see the batting average, 212. That is very un-Cano-like.
Yeah, without question. This is a 7-time All-Star, 5-time Silver Slugger. Got Nelson Cruz, Big Thunder, on deck. A walk to Dyson, a strikeout to Hanover, and that one is blasted right center field and deep and gone, and no doubt about it. And the long ball from the left side of the plate has bitten Tom Kohler again.
It's the 4th home run for a left-handed hitter against Tom Kohler on this season. Really struggling with the left-handed hitters. The righties he's been very, very successful against, but those lefties he has made a few too many mistakes and has had to pay the price. One-two pitch right here. Remember, 2 strikes, that being the key. Up in the zone, out over the plate. This is a mistake, and he knows that. It's not where you want to miss with 2 strikes.
Boy, that's in this ballpark, that's a long home run. That's 12, 15 rows up in right center field. And here's Cruz.
Well, there's definitely been signs of life with this Mariners team here on the homestand. They've been swinging the bats a little bit better. Nelson Cruz has as well, 391 during his 6-game hitting streak. Big comeback victory against the Texas Rangers. They were down early in that ball game. They battled back. Their bullpen was fairly taxed yesterday, 6 scoreless innings, but offensively Nelson Cruz had a walk-off base hit. So both these teams come in playing good baseball.
field. Yelich back at the track. That one's gone. Goodness. What a 1-2 punch. Cano and then Cruz.
Back-to-back home runs, Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz. Nelson Cruz, it's a fastball to his liking. You see how Real Muto has to go back out over the plate to get that down low. Nelson Cruz handles the low fastball very, very well. Drives it out to center field. His second home run on the season.
And here is Seager. So Seattle has hit 2 out here in the first. And Kohler gets a strike. Of course, Kyle's brother Corey has blossomed as a star in the Dodgers infield at shortstop. Kyle, older at 29, was a star at University of North Carolina. Was an American League All-Star, won a Gold Glove back in 2014. And Kohler right now with a count at 2-1. Both of these ball clubs, and I know it sounds like a broken record, both of these ball clubs had to use their bullpens a lot over the weekend. The Marlins in that long series with the Mets with some short starts and a 16-inning game. Seattle's pen pitched 6 innings yesterday. And so both managers are hopeful that their starters can get him at least into that 6th inning range.
Most importantly for the Marlins, they're playing really good baseball right now. And good vibes, good confidence. This is an important road trip when you add up everything that they accomplished on the last homestand.
Check swing and no swing. And Seager now with the count at 3-2.
Huh. Must be a West Coast umpire. I've seen a lot of check swings, the guys going down.
Fastball fouled back. Yeah, Seattle swept Texas, and yesterday they were down 6-1, rallied. Then they were down 7-6 in the 9th, and came back to win it. There's the breaking ball, and down goes Seager.
Nelson Cruz walk-off yesterday.
Yeah, it's not a as majestic as that hit.
No.
More like an infield hit.
No, but you know, and we've talked about this in the first 2 weeks because the Marlins have bottled it up, and it can. I mean, they're all drinking the Kool-Aid right now. They love what they're doing, and they're feeding off each other. And I watched a little bit of that late. We got in, and there was things that were on highlights around here on the TV, and so I was watching the comeback last night from the Mariners. I mean, you could tell that the vibe that they were missing early on seemed to start to come back yesterday in the ballgame.
They love the vibe that this guy brings. Taylor Motter is getting a chance to play shortstop. Gene Segura is on the disabled list. Segura due back probably in 3 or 4 days. But Motter in his place has played well.
Well, it's not just about filling in capably. I mean, he has produced 2 home runs, 5 RBIs. You see that right there, 292 batting average. It's classic. It's like, hey, just take your time. Don't hurry. Let us know when you're ready to come back.
Whenever you get around to it.
Right. That's how good he's been playing.
As I mentioned earlier, Motter out of Palm Beach Gardens. And played his college ball at Coastal Carolina.
Nice slider right there.
2 balls, 2 strikes. 27 pitches, 2 home runs. And a 3-2 count.
Try right there for the 2-seamer on the corner. TK, he seems to be finding a little bit better rhythm here. He got done in by a couple of guys in the middle of the lineup, but you see the purpose behind the pitches now, and he's starting to kind of has that look about him.
And he got him. What an odd inning. 2 long homers and 3 strikeouts. And a 3-0 Seattle lead. Mariners jump the Marlins in the first, have a 3-0 lead. Robinson Cano leads the way with a 440-foot home run. His running buddy Nelson Cruz a mere 410 feet. And Giancarlo Stanton stands in. Stanton to be followed by Marcell Ozuna and JT Realmuto against Ariel Miranda. 3 Mariners on the left side of the infield. Stanton takes a fastball up.
Well, Stanton's had some early success. He's 3 for 8 against lefties this year with a couple home runs, so that's a good sign. Talk about keeping that front shoulder in with Giancarlo Stanton, and he definitely has done that. You have to against the lefties. You see it right there. 3 walks as well.
Stanton lifts that one in the air. Haniger is under it and he makes a catch. Every Monday this week, $8 off Legends Platinum seats. Promo code is Skipper. It's the flash offer. Celebrating Don Mattingly's birthday on Thursday, you can save $8 on Legends Platinum seats. Marlins Rays, Marlins Cardinals, or Marlins Astros. Ozuna lines it to right, and it's caught there by Haniger. Didn't even have enough time to congratulate him on being Player of the Week in the National League, and he lines out to right.
A real nice swing of the bat. Ozuna, he knows it. All over that fastball.
Miranda, an economy of pitches, just 17 to get 5 outs. And up comes Realmuto. So Realmuto's a catcher. He knows this. He wants to buy some time for Kohler. Miranda is a pitcher. He knows that too. But you never know. Sometimes hitters will come up thinking, yeah, I'm going to take a pitch. Pitchers will think that, and they'll jump on a fastball. And that one is in.
Well, that's part of that's part of the game plan. It's an interesting one against Miranda because the numbers, what they tell you is that he's struggled in the windup, which obviously he's in right now with the bases empty, and hitters are hitting .346 against him. That there's been 3 home runs hit against him in this position, meaning he's clearly making some pitches out over the plate that are very hittable for hitters. That's what the evidence tells you. When he's in the stretch, 188. So he's had more success. It kind of promotes and encourages an aggressiveness as a hitter in these situations, but at the same time, you've never seen him before. See how sometimes as baseball players we have to make decisions early before the game's ever played. How do we want to go into that approach against him that day? The numbers say be aggressive early. That good first fastball that you get is something you might want to jump on. At the same time, you tell yourself, I've never seen him before. So I think part of what we're seeing right now is that scouting report kind of playing out. You've seen some aggressiveness from these Marlins hitters. They haven't got the reward that they want in base hits, but a couple of these balls have come off the barrel. You just saw Ozuna right there jump on a first pitch fastball. So they're thinking be aggressive.
Realmuto now with the count 3-2. JT's average just a skosh under 400. He had 2 hits in yesterday's 4-2 win over the Mets. And that went foul back to the screen, and that wasn't the best performance by a JT in yesterday's ball game. Of course, JT Riddle with the walk-off homer with 2 outs in the 9th. What an absolute jaw-dropping moment at Marlins Park yesterday. High fastball. Realmuto strikes out, and Miranda has retired all 6 that he's faced. And it is one of the great bar scenes in all of Seattle. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Counts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. Out there in the pen, there are bars, there are restaurants, and there are lots of people having a good time. This is a big microbrew area. You know that, Todd Hollinsworth, though you didn't, I know that when you were in high school at Newport High.
Did not. It has grown in the years.
There's the first moose sighting of the night. Tom Kohler trying to straighten things out here in the second. He threw a lot of pitches in that first inning. 2 of them were hit a long ways. A 2-run homer by Robinson Cano. And back-to-back Nelson Cruz with a solo shot. 29 pitches in that inning. He gets Danny Valencia, Leonis Martin, and Mike Zunino. There's some good Florida connections on this ball club, and Valencia is one of those. Pride of Spanish River High School in Boca Raton and the University of Miami. He started his career at UNC Greensboro and then went to the U. 19th round pick of the Twins. And he takes high. Valencia parts of 8 years in Major League Baseball. 130 games with Oakland last year. Kohler's 3-0 pitch is a strike. And he loses Valencia. Remember, Kohler walked the leadoff man in the first. That was Dyson. He ended up scoring on the Cano homer.
Kind of walked in the same way. Put it in terms that easy takes. Dyson didn't have to work very hard for that walk right there. Valencia saw 5 pitches other than the 3-0 pitch, all clearly out of the strike zone.
This Real Muto trying to get Board's attention to remind him that Martin will bunt. But not bunting there. An aggressive swing, and he fouls it back.
Now Leonis Martin finds himself in the 8th spot in the lineup. You see the number right there, 119. Goodness gracious, off to a very, very slow start. Very uncharacteristic for Martin, who's a very good center fielder. Handles the bat typically very well. Just off to a slow start right now.
Ball and a strike. Martin, the 29-year-old, another Cuban, Villa Clara. And 15 home runs, a career high for Seattle last year. Played in 143 games. Was in the Rangers organization. Spent parts of 5 years with Texas. This is not a team, a Seattle team that has a lot of homegrown talent. Jerry DiPoto's made a lot of changes. There's just 11 players back from their opening day roster of last year. And DiPoto, in his second year as the general manager, has been very aggressive, trying to build a team for new ownership as well. Here's a look at DiPoto.
Well, certainly to build around Cano, Cruz, Seager, Haniger now. I mean, those are the types of players, I mean, that he's looking to bring in. I think it's been so interesting, to your point, the number of moves he's been willing to make. But at the same time, you know, he's a big believer, and he's a former teammate of mine, so I know Jerry pretty well about team chemistry. And you know, over the last few seasons, they've been looking to find the right mix of players. He also doesn't believe in just kind of letting it go. Sometimes you know. In baseball, the word patience is used an awful lot. Well, you got to be patient with this player, and not that Jerry isn't patient with certain players.
Yelich right there, and he makes a catch. And Martin is the first out. Valencia is back at first base. Mike Zunino coming to the plate.
He just combines patience with how a roster is put together and who he wants to be patient with and who he believes are the right types of players to surround the core that they have.
Wei-Yin Chen, Giovanni Gallardo tomorrow. Yes, Twitter Tuesday, late night with the Fish, and a Twitter Tuesday as we're pushing 7:46 here on the West Coast. And here is Zunino, who is hoping that some time in the minor leagues, trying to rebuild his swing with former World Series Yankee hero Scott Brocious, will pay some dividends.
Zunino had a nice bounce back last year offensively, to your point, but off to a slow start here in 2017.
Kohler throws a strike. Brocious is now on this staff. In fact, he's the assistant hitting coach. So if you're a right-handed bat like Zunino, you've got that guy to learn from. And you've got Edgar Martinez, considered one of the best, if not the best, right-handed bat of his era. Fastball misses up.
Would not want to disappoint my hitting coaches.
No, not at all. Not. I mean, look.
If you come back to the dugout and they're doing one of these, you'd be like, "Oh no, I've done it."
But Zunino is very good behind the plate, and still, it's hard to say he's a prospect at 26, but they still think his ceiling is quite high. He's swing and a miss and a breaking ball. He won every award in college, at least everyone I could find. The Golden Spikes Award, which is kind of the Heisman Trophy, the Dick Hauser Award, the Johnny Bench Award for catchers. Of course, he elicits a go Gator from the production truck here, even in Seattle. Here's a 2-2. Kohler looking for a letter high strike, and the count's 3-2. Dyson, the leadoff man, is on deck. Breaking ball, and Zunino stays alive. This is always an indication of a pitcher's effectiveness, ball-strike ratio. And right now, I think it's fair to say Tom Kohler is scuffling to find it, to find that slot, to find that groove.
45 pitches, 22 and 23. It doesn't lie, but at the same time, it's been in and out. I mean, think back to the first inning, picks up 3 strikeouts.
High in the air with the runner going. Shallow center. Rojas is out, along with Yelich, and it's Rojas who makes the catch.
You know, there have been at bats to certain individuals and hitters in this Mariners lineup that he has made pitches to. But with that being said, you know, he comes out and he walks the leadoff hitter in the first and second inning.
And for a guy like Kohler, and having watched Kohler a lot, the goal now is to figure it out, regroup, and get this game into the 6th inning. Obviously, at this pitch count, you can't sustain that, but a couple of quick innings would do the trick.
Well, the theme coming out of spring training is to play, and I've kind of pushed it myself and said it myself, to play as many one-run games as you can if you're the Marlins. It gives you a chance. You know where your strength lies in that bullpen. If you get to the 5th and 6th inning and you're within striking distance, as we witnessed many times in that Mets series, they can strike. They can come back. The offense is good enough, and it's proving that it's going to come through with runners in scoring position. Doing a better job of that this year. So as this team matures, you're really going to start to see how can they win ball games. And if they can get the 5th and 6th, innings out of their starters, I think they're going to be in good shape.
Hit hard, and Bohr is up to get it. And the inning is over. Miami down 3-0. A Seattle legend in a Miami uniform is coming up. Ichiro. What a sight that is as the sun sets over the Puget Sound. The ferries headed out. A lot of commuters going home for dinner. It's a great way to commute. Hop on the ferry and out you
That's
go.
Right.
Justin Bohr, Miguel Rojas, and Ichiro. The summer nights, and I know we're not there yet, but you're heading that direction. The summer nights here last forever. Bohr takes a fastball for a strike.
Growing up here, we used to talk about that. The 9 months that you lived through, the rainy months, for those 3 incredible months that were
a Seattle summer.
Four swings and misses, and the count is 1-2. Or yesterday in 0 for 3. Had a big home run on Saturday. And he strikes out. A couple curveballs do him in here, and that brings up Miguel Rojas.
Justin bore out in front of those off-speed pitches just a little bit.
Now Miguel Rojas was 8 for 16 against the Mets. And Danny Echeverria is probably 3 or 4 games away. Into right, some quick outs here from Miranda, and there are 2 outs.
Batting ninth, the left fielder, number 51, Ichiro Suzuki.
This is not the first time he's been back, but it's the first time since 14 that he's been back. He, of course, was traded to the Yankees. 11 and a half years here in Seattle.
.322 average over those 11 and a half seasons. Standing ovation.
Those are his career numbers. In Seattle, he was a .322 hitter. 2,533 hits. And all he did in Seattle in those 11 and a half years, 10 All-Star teams, 10 Gold Gloves, won the MVP, 2 batting titles, was the Rookie of the Year. Wildly popular.
He had 262 hits in one season. What didn't he do here?
Setting the all-time record. Ichiro little chopper. Cano gathers it in, flips it to first. And I'll tell you what, Ariel Miranda looks untouchable right now. He's retired all 9 he's faced. And Seattle has a 3-0 lead. By Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. And all your South Florida Chevy dealers. And your local Toyota dealers. Let's go places. This is a great place to come. Seattle, 3-0 Mariners. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Well, hey, Rich, you talked about that hot start to the season for Mitch Haniger. He is, in fact, one of only 4 players in the American League who has 10 or more runs and 10 or more RBIs. Take a look at the other guys on the list: Nomar Mazara, Miguel Sano, and George Springer. You mentioned that some other guys have been struggling, but he has had a hot start to this season. His 12 runs and 11 RBIs lead the Mariners in both categories, guys.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think they thought that Haniger was going to contribute this year. A breaking ball in the dirt. Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz to follow. And obviously with Cano and Cruz not hitting, Seager either, Haniger's start has been a really nice shot in the arm. Soft serve, left field. And his hitting streak is now 11 straight. He gets himself a leadoff hit, and the leadoff hitter has been on all 3 times against Tom Koehler.
Tom Kohler's made a lot of pitches out of the stretch already in this ball game. You see him at 51. He's got to enter in that zone again. Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz coming to the plate.
All right, here is Cano. It was a protracted at bat against Koehler. When he finally got the pitch he wanted, he hit it 441 feet up into right center field. And for Koehler, 2 homers allowed here. And now 5 in his 3 starts. 4 of those to lefty bats. Cruz's homer, the only to a right-handed hitter.
Well, and falling behind hitters has been a theme here this evening as well. Putting himself in a position where he has to make pitches to some of the game's most dangerous power hitters, especially in the American League. Robinson Cano is looking for 1 pitch in 1 spot.
Little pop up. D. Gordon makes a catch. Who doesn't love burgers and beers, right? Well, Burgers and Beer Fridays are back, and you can do it at Marlins Park. Craft beer and a burger and a Marlins game. Marlins and Pirates at 7:10. Tickets start as low as $30. Get your ticket at marlins.com today.
Big pitch to Robinson Cano right there and get out underneath that 2-0 count. Steps Nelson Cruz. Again, you see it right there. Falls behind. First pitch strikes to only 5 of the 13 batters he's faced. They start to lick their chops when they see numbers like that. Get themselves into fastball counts.
Into the bat, it squirts up the line. Bohr will get it, and he'll tag Cruz out. Haniger is in scoring position for a Kyle Seager at bat.
Well, the 1 pitch that has worked for him so far tonight is that slider. He's gone to it a few different times, especially against the right-handed hitters. Right there again, even Nelson Cruz, his head goes flying off the baseball, cues it off the end of the bat.
Well, that's the test for a guy like Koehler. If you don't have your best stuff, can you still hang in the ball game?
Well,
and this getting through this inning, getting Cano and Cruz is a nice start. The Marlins are going to give the intentional walk to Seager and pitch to Motter.
Well, and I think that explains, as we've talked about already a lot tonight, the lefty-righty splits that we've seen. You talked about the home runs. Seager, despite striking out his first at bat, gets the intentional walk right there with first base open to go after the younger and more inexperienced Taylor Motter. No, by the way, he's right-handed.
But he's also had a nice start.
He has.
To 2017. Breaking ball, a strike. Motter was in the Rays organization and a very versatile guy coming up. In the minor leagues, he played 7 different spots, did everything but pitch and catch. And of course, in the Rays organization, there's a lot of value in that. It was closer than you thought it would be on the catch and tag by Gordon.
You see it right there. Haniger gets his right hand back in. Deep Gordon. Nice job getting that quick tag down. Split second behind. Trying to get him to shorten up his lead. With 2 outs here. That's what really has gotten away from Tom Kohler tonight is his fastball command. His curveball has been good. He's used it on the corners. He's fooled some of these Mariner hitters. His slider has been particularly effective, even in counts where he has fallen behind 1-0 and 2-0. You saw that to Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz as well. He may have to lean on those secondary pitches here as well.
1-1. Breaking ball hit hard into left field. Charging there is Ichiro. Runner holds, and Ichiro throws a dart that is cut off by Prado. And so Motter hit it well, almost too well. If he dribbled it through that left side, Seattle might have their 4th run.
That's a good point. Sometimes soft is better than hitting it hard right there. And you see it. One hop to Ichiro. Great strong throw from left field. Still has the good arm. Smart move to hold him up at third base. And we talked about that back pick. In a lot of ways, it shortens up that secondary lead for Haniger. I don't think he would have had much of a shot right there, but regardless, nice throw by Ichiro.
Danny Valencia, with the bags loaded, has been pretty good in his career. Over 300, 3 grand slams. And a strike.
Big first pitch strike for Tom Kohler. Used the fastball to get ahead.
Marlins infield playing Valencia to pull. Is a huge gap on the right side of the infield. You can see it. Unless Mark Wegner brought a glove with them, anything on that side is going to get through. Ball and a strike and 2 outs, and the pitch count for Kohler now is rocketed to 61.
Here's the slider. It's been very, very valuable to him tonight. He'll use it again right there to get ahead of Valencia. There you see it. Good action on it. Works itself away, and that's the swing that you've seen from a lot of these Mariner hitters, where the head kind of is coming off the baseball right there. They're being fooled by that pitch. They think it's a fastball, maybe a fastball that's had something taken off of it, and it's actually a very good slider. 86, 87 miles an hour.
1-2. Two balls, 2 strikes.
Big spot for Kohler.
Got him with a fastball. Kohler strikes out Valencia. Seattle threatens, leaves them loaded. 3-0. on the right, Mariners on the left, and they hope the Sonics a little further down the road in the near future. Toyota brings you Going the Distance. Toyota, let's go places. From Miami to Seattle is the longest distance between major league cities. But Boston to San Francisco, Boston to Oakland, Boston to the Dodgers, and Miami to San Francisco are also long hauls as well. D. Gordon, first pitch, lines it to center. All right, Todd Hollinsworth, this is second time through for the Marlins. And Ariel Miranda hasn't broken a sweat. He's retired all 10 that he's faced. A lot of quick outs. He's thrown only 35 pitches.
Yeah, it's 3.5 pitches a hitter. Well, as I explained in the middle of the first inning, I mean, that's the problem that you have, is that the scouting report encourages you. It tells you that you want to be more aggressive early in the count against him because the numbers tell you the same thing, that there's lots of success against him. But the problem that you have is also working him. You sit there and you tell yourself, we want to work his count. We want to see if we can get his pitches up. You know, what are we looking to accomplish? There's actually evidence that in those situations he is better. He has been better when he has had runners on base. Miranda has. His trouble is actually when he's been in the windup this year. Sort of, in a weird sort of way, the Marlins are kind of doing what the scouting report would tell them to do. They're just not getting the results, unfortunately.
Here's a 1-1. Prado takes a strike. Martin Prado, first game back from the disabled list. He popped to first. He absolutely chewed up left-handed pitching last year. 424, best in baseball by a great margin. And he fouls that pitch back. Look at that. And on the road, good as well. He's back from the disabled list in that number 2 spot, right behind D. Gordon and in front of Christian Yelich.
Captain?
Yes. I think, I don't know that he's been designated as, but I think everyone treats him as
kind
a
of looks,
captain.
yeah, looks at him that way as the kind of the player spokesman.
And Prado pops that one up. That is Seager. And Ariel Miranda is throwing a gem right now.
Well, the difference between the two, between Miranda and Kohler, is really just attacking the zone early in the count. Miranda's making some pitches. I mean, I'm sure the Marlins hitters would tell you we've missed a few of our pitches as well. But with that being said, you see the zeros. That doesn't lie. But for Tom Kohler, kind of the opposite effect. And so you see how pitch count matters. When you're not being aggressive enough throwing strikes early in the count, that pitch count's going to go right through the roof. Miranda still well below 40 pitches right now here in the 4th inning.
That breaking ball has been good against the lefty bats. It struck Bohr out. He got Yelich to bounce out back in the 1st. Yeah, why not throw it again?
Doesn't have a whole lot of movement. It's about 80 miles an hour. It's tight. Left-handed hitters have had a hard time seeing it. You see that grip right there, kind of that preset grip. That's a split finger fastball that he was just pressing into his hand right there, and then he'll change out of it if he doesn't want to throw it.
That's a garden variety fastball there.
Yes, it is.
93 miles an hour. That's what kind of makes him unique, is the split. Most of the guys that throw split are right-handed pitchers. He throws a split, he throws a change, a breaking ball, and a fastball.
The breaking ball actually grades out as his worst pitch. That's what's been so interesting here in the early going. But he's been in such command, not only because he's got the lead and he's getting early strikes, but it's just allowed him to play off of it. And you've seen some good sliders from him to left-handed hitters. So everything working right now. Marlins have to find a way to get him out of his rhythm.
Yelich into right field, and there's the first hit for the Fish. The 2-out single, and that gets Stanton to the plate.
That's a good start to do that. Pitch down in the zone. I think that's the slider right there, or that's a hanging splitty, one or the other, but that's not where he wanted as far as location. Christian Yelich, beautiful swing. Nice job staying on this pitch. Goes down and gets it, drives it through the right side.
Stanton hit a shallow fly ball out to right field, and he pops that one up. Cano calling and catching. And the Marlins get a hit, leave a runner. Stanton and the rest of the Fish frustrated tonight. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Kubota. For more information or to find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. By True Green, America's #1 professional lawn care company. Live life outside. And by Kaiser University. Learn more at kaiseruniversity.edu. You got some Marlin fans here. In and about Safeco Field.
There's Fish fans everywhere, and I expect to see them everywhere we go on this trip around the country.
You will. You'll see them in San Diego. You'll see them in Philadelphia as the Marlins kind of crisscross the country. On a strike to Leonis Martin. There's a little chopper in the hole and a base hit. Miami had a shift on with Rojas over towards the bag, and Martin opens the 4th with a hit, and the Mariners have opened every inning with a base runner, a couple of singles and a couple of walks against Tom Kohler. On a night where nothing is coming easy for Tom.
No, it is not. He is having to work. And even in this situation here where he gets a weak grounder to the left side because of that overshift, it's able to kind of slip through. Finds himself in the stretch once again.
And so here is Zunino. And let's see what Scott Service does here. American League, you don't see too much bunting, hitting and running. But Zunino, the way he has swung the bat, is not been a dangerous hitter in his time in the big leagues. And he's popped out. He's only at bat here.
Well, the Mariners have power up and down their lineup. They have a 3-0 lead here in the 4th inning. I think in this situation, American League Baseball tells you you're probably not going to see a sacrifice bunt. You're going to see guys swing the bat even out of the 9th spot in the lineup. It's where it's so much different than the National League, where obviously you have the pitcher.
Three infielders on the left side for Zunino. And Kohler gets a strike there.
This is done.
0-2.
Dials up the fastball on the outside corner, making some pitches here. Again, trying to get into that rhythm. Done it in this ball game by a couple of long balls. Has made some pitches. Last inning, left the bases loaded. Had to work through some traffic tonight, but he's navigating things fairly decently right now.
Breaking ball misses away. And it's 1-2.
The temptation when your pitch count starts to skyrocket early in a start. We talk about this in obviously an awful lot with the bullpen usage in regards to the Mets series. Your first inclination is to just start throwing tons and tons of strikes to try to get yourself back into rhythm. But the truth be told, you have to make pitches. I mean, you have to, like you saw right there, the breaking ball off the plate, set your hitters up. You can't just continue to think you're going to attack the middle of the plate and try to recoup those pitches, recover them. You still have to pitch. You still have to make good pitchers pitches, or a team like the Seattle Mariners group that has so much power up and down the lineup, they will start to tee off on you.
Martin chased back. As Todd noted, this is a ball club that has run a lot and run with success so far this year.
We've only one caught stealing. 12 for 13.
Runner goes. Pitches high. Real Muto's throw on a hop and safe. Martin steals it. And that's the 4th stolen base for Leonis Martin.
You see the high fastball right there. Real Muto on the short hop. Not a bad, just slightly to the D. Gordon side of the bag right there. You see the left side of the bag. If it's on the right side, he probably gets Martin right there. Just gets in under the tag.
Well, the count's 2-2 on Zunino now. You've got Dyson on deck. Pitch, according to StatCast, caught the strike zone. That one foul back to the screen.
Zunino does not get cheated. And a big swing right there with 2 strikes.
Now the 3-2. High pop-up. And Rojas settles under it, makes the catch. Tomorrow night, another late night with the Fish. It's a Twitter Tuesday. We'll go to the market, won't we? Craig Minervini and Jeff Nelson. Chat with a legend. Visit to the Fish Market as well. South Florida Honda dealers. That legend is Ichiro. Visit with Jessica Blaylock, Christian Yelich, and Justin Bohr will be headed to the Fish Market. I am headed to another Seattle hotspot, another very cool place. It's not the Fish Market, but it's a cool place.
What do you got?
I'm going to the headquarters of Tommy Bahama tomorrow.
Oh, nice. You can get us some shirts?
I'll work on it.
Okay.
I'll work on it.
Preferably in fish colors.
Fish, okay. Dyson can't check his swing, and it's 0-1.
I think we should have a Tommy Bahama Tuesday.
Well, the fantasy auction, that's the night for it.
Well, I'm talking permanently here.
That's a tough throw. Rojas can't make the catch, and it ends up in center field. With a daylight play like that, you're throwing to the bag, and as Rojas is trying to arrive to the bag with the ball was, watch where the ball was thrown.
Yeah, that's what that's all about right there. Unfortunately, on the daylight play, you have to throw to the bag right there because you have a moving target in your guy who's covering the bag in Rojas, your shortstop. So as he's working back to the bag, you're having to hit that moving target. And if you throw, obviously, as you see up the line, it ends up in center field.
And that's going to force Miami to bring their infield in. The air goes to Kohler. He's 0-1 on Dyson. And so Martin, who stole second, now resides at third.
Dyson a walk and a line drive. Justin Bour over there at first base.
Now, no one has budged in Miami's bullpen, but that may change in a hurry here. Kohler is approaching 80 pitches, and it's still the fourth inning. There's a strike.
There's that breaking ball that's been there for him time and time again tonight. You see the pitches 29, 19, 16, and 14 here in the fourth inning, starting to pile up the pitch total.
Two. Breaking ball and a fair ball just beyond Prado's reach. Dyson a double, and it's 4-0.
Tom Kohler goes to the curveball once again. You see it at the top of the zone. Dyson fooled by it. This is just an excuse me swing down the left field line. Gets jammed just a little bit and over Martin Prado with the drawn in infield. They say it all the time. As a regular hitter, you're 300. With the infield in, you turn into a 400 hitter when you bring those guys in. And that is a perfect example of that. If Martin Prado's at his position, probably catches that quite easily. Instead, Dyson able to pick up the RBI double.
Two teams that have both won 3 straight games coming into this one to open up a 3-game series. Night games on this Monday, and then tomorrow on Tuesday, and then an afternoon game on Wednesday at 12:40 Seattle start, 3:40 start back home. You see that infield with the 3 infielders over. Marlins have been very aggressive against Seattle. And this is Haniger, who's 1 for 2 and the hottest hitter that Seattle has. Runner goes, big jump, ground ball short. Rojas on to first in time. And now Robinson Cano coming up. Just in watching 3.5 innings of Seattle at the plate, Scott Servais seems to manage at least this ball club a lot like a, some would say, traditional National League team. Trying to create runs, moving runners around. Of course, the 2 homers in the first inning help free you up to make those decisions.
Most definitely. And I think that's what's going on. And this Mariners team, listen, a lot of people really expect this team to play good baseball this year.
Cano, left center field. That's well hit. Ichiro going after it, looking up. Top of the wall. Another run scores. Cano into second. And he's got a double.
Mariners lefty strike again. Robinson Cano going to take a hanging curveball at the top of the zone and stay right through it. Remember, he hits the fastball to right center field for the home run, and right there did a nice job early staying through the breaking ball. That was called hitting to location. He got a pitch up at the top of the zone. He knew he could, as long as he stayed on his backside, that he'd be able to hit it hard the other way, and he did off the left center field wall.
And now Nelson Cruz, 7 hits, 5 runs, and 82 pitches for Kohler. And here's Cruz, his homer, 410 feet down along the right side of that big batter's eye in center field. And a breaking ball strike, and it's 1-1. Curveball, a strike. 1-2.
Tom Kohler has definitely stayed with it tonight, especially with his breaking pitches.
Nelson Cruz turns 37 in July. One of the American League kings of exit velocity. He's always near the top of that list with the strength and the might that he's got. 43 homers. His last 3 years, he's gone for 40, 44, and 43 home runs.
Well, you watch his swing, and it is built for power. Look at the leverage in the back elbow, how he stands very, very tall and uses his backside. I mean, this is a maximum effort swing. Gets great leverage, stands very tall in the box, and when you see that back elbow, kind of the way that it is, very, very high, he's trying to stay on top of the ball, almost like cutting down a tree, like you would see an axe come through the strike zone, and that's what produces so much of that power that you see.
Swing and a miss, and Kohler strikes out Cruz, but more damage. Seattle adds 3 hits and 2 runs. Mariners have jumped on the Marlins here. Big story, the big story in baseball. How about Patriots Day? Early morning start. You ever played a Patriots Day game?
Never.
Boy, it's an early start.
I watch it a lot because
it is
on
a
early.
Great tradition. Paul Revere was there. A lot of knuckleballs in the air as well.
Starts at about, what, 11 o'clock in the morning, I believe, East Coast time. Is that right?
Yes.
11 o'clock in Boston?
Yes, about 11:15, I believe. Marcelo Zuna, high, in deep, down the line, in the corner, and it's just foul. My goodness. I mean, that was a long way up, and it ended up narrowly missing the foul pole.
It really is amazing, the swing itself. How did it end up foul is what is surprising me. Usually when you hit the ball off the bat that way, there's some element of hook to it, so the ball's spinning away from the line. It just was a towering fly ball that started fair and never really, well, it should have stayed fair. It just didn't. That kind of night.
Strike to Ozuna. Well hit ball average. That's very good. In fact, it's the best in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I like the first of 160 full-time hitters. That's the stat I like.
I like that term, a full-time hitter.
Right.
So if you're I guess if you're a bench player, you're a part-time hitter.
Right.
Like Madison Bumgarner would be a part-time hitter, but I mean,
right.
I think he belongs in the full-time company. He just doesn't have the at-bats. Ozuna swings and misses, and Miranda strikes him out. And Ariel Miranda has given up just one hit as he works here in the 5th.
Well, it certainly speaks to his stuff. It also speaks to that aggressiveness. We've seen the Marlins hitters come out tonight and swing that bat very early, fooled by some off-speed pitches. Have hit a few balls hard right at some guys. Not able to get any offense going.
Here is Real Muto. JT takes a strike.
Give some credit to Miranda. He continues to pump the strikes. I know there's a few situations here where Marlins hitters have come up where the hitter before them and the hitter before him has, swung early in the count. We've talked about it a few different times where you end up taking strikes because there's only 3 pitches that have been thrown in the inning. You're the 3rd hitter up and you feel that obligation to take because of the early swinging, and then you take and he's throwing strikes, and that's where the credit has to go right back to Miranda. He has continued to pound the strike zone under all circumstances and stay aggressive. It's what you want to do when you've got a 5-0 lead as well. They're in a position where their bullpen threw 6 innings yesterday. They're looking for a long start from Miranda, even though that's been an issue for him typically throughout his short career.
Giovanni Gallardo and Wei-Yin Chen is the pitching matchup tomorrow night. Felix Hernandez, King Felix, and Edinson Volquez. And my guess is you haven't been here for a Felix start, have you?
Look it up. I can't remember.
But I mean,
I feel like I have for some reason.
It's fun. The king in his court. They've got all the signs going.
We'll have to verify this.
It's a great time and an afternoon game, so it'll be fun in the sun. Well, maybe not the sun. It's Seattle, and it's April, but it's fun. It's a great show here when Felix gets the ball and starts. One, two. Real Muto pulls it. Count stays at 1-2. Braves won today in walk-off fashion. 5-4. They beat the Padres. Marlins and Padres open up Friday night in San Diego. Real Muto runs the count to 2-2. This has turned into a good at bat. He was down 0-2.
Worked it all the way back to 3-2. It's an 8-pitch at bat for JT Real Muto. Nice job laying off some tough pitches and fouling off a few other ones as well. That's where he's been in the early going this season. He's been a thorn in most starters' side, trying to get out of innings.
And he swung at a pitch that was up and in, and he knows it. Looks up in frustration, and Miranda has 2 strikeouts here in the 5th. Geico presents this major league moment. Jamie Moyer, at 49 years, 150 days, becomes the oldest player to win a major league game. This was with the Colorado Rockies back in 2012. There's his wife Karen. And of course, Moyer was a terrific pitcher here in Seattle for a long time. Justin Bour with a count 1-1. Bour struck out in the 3rd. You probably had at bats against Moyer, didn't you?
Jamie Moyer, most definitely.
Did you see him pitch as a Mariner as a kid and then get to face him in the big leagues?
I did.
That's pretty cool.
Yep. He by that time was doing the slower and slowest. So it was a test of your patience when you got in the box. He wanted you to go outside the zone and chase one of those 82, 84 mile an hour fastballs that he would dot on the corner.
And look, Moyer was a Marlin killer when he pitched for the Phillies. I think he won his first 11 or 12 decisions against the Marlins. It was not fun for the Fish, for sure. 3-1. Bohr cracks a ground ball. Cano camped out in right field. And Ariel Miranda is spinning a one-hit shutout against the Fish. Some old school Orioles as well. And fleece. Fleece is popular here.
It's a little chilly
in the Northwest. Let's do some showstopper. Dansby Swanson, and this is the walk-off hit for the Braves at SunTrust Park against the Padres. And don't look now, but the Braves are back. Ever since Ender Inciarte started hitting home runs, the Braves have started to win ball games. I believe it puts them at 500 now after an awful start to remember they had to
they were on the road the whole
series
time.
On the road, and Atlanta with that win is indeed at 500, 6-6. So Jose Ureña's taken over now for Tom Kohler. Kohler going just 4 innings and giving up the 5 runs on 7 hits.
What they envisioned when they put that team together with Atlanta. They went with a few of the veteran players out there. They even traded for a few guys with the idea that they were opening up a new stadium and certainly were hoping to play a little bit better baseball at home. Clearly getting their wish early on.
Seager, Taylor Motter, Danny Valencia here in the 5th. The night didn't start well for the Fish and for Kohler. Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz homered in the 1st. Cano's a 2-run shot that went 441 feet. And then Seattle added 2 more in the 4th. They had the bags loaded in the 3rd and didn't score.
Ureña fastball, slider change. Very good in this role so far this year. And we talked about Ureña and his success needing to be throwing first pitch strikes, working ahead of hitters. His stuff plays. I mean, that's always been the one thing that has stood out when it comes to Urania and this roster and how he fits on this roster. And the Marlins really do believe he's got a great arm, and there's a spot here for him. But he's got to pitch. He's got to keep himself on this roster by throwing more strikes. And so far this season, he's been very, very good about that. You see the fastball, 97 miles an hour. Does have a good changeup and a good slider. Needs to stay aggressive inside that strike zone.
Miami's bullpen, and much was written and talked about in spring training. With the loss of Jose Fernandez, the Marlins obviously couldn't find that #1 starter, so they picked up a couple of starters in Volquez and Straley, and then tried to fortify their bullpen, which they felt they did. And they have a lot of guys down there that have closing stuff or closing experience, but there is still a need for a guy like Urania, and this is the perfect example. That's center field. That's deep. Yelich has room, and he makes the catch. Because what you can't afford with a bullpen like that is to, again, run 3 or 4 guys out here tonight, especially in a game where you're down 5-0. And the advantage, too, is that this is an American League game, and so you're not having to hit for anybody.
Right.
And so Urania can pitch as long as he can, as long as he's effective tonight.
And still protect that bullpen, to your point. That's exactly what you're trying to do. Otherwise, you start rolling through that bullpen.
Oh, 0-1 to Taylor Motter. Taylor Motter, left field deep. That may be upper tank, and it is. Nothing Seattle. Motter has hit 3. Gene Segura may not get his job back.
You see, 98-mile-an-hour fastball hits the target. Not a bad pitch. Credit where credit is due. Motter all over it. 3 home runs. He's taking over at shortstop. Wally Pipp.
Well, Gene Segura is a very good player.
Heck of a ball player. That's the impression that Motter is leaving on most people here in Seattle.
But no, I mean, he's Motter is quickly becoming a fan favorite.
He should. He's playing very well.
The way he plays, the results on the field, and the flowing locks.
Thor-esque.
Thor-esque. Thor Jr. almost. It's like Syndergaard's younger brother. Valencia here. The truck says maybe less Syndergaard and maybe more Khalil Green. For those of you in Key West who Khalil Green, the fine Padres shortstop out of Key West. Valencia is out. Come to Marlins Park on Friday night the 28th. Puerto Rican Heritage Night for 7,500 fans. Get a Marlins fedora hat courtesy of Leon Medical Centers. And you can purchase the Puerto Rican Heritage Package and receive a Puerto Rican branded Marlins jersey. Marlins.com, the place to go here in Seattle. Leonos Martin up. He goes after the first pitch and fouls it out of play. Martinez lined out, singled, and stole a base. 3 home runs by Seattle here. And even Martin had a big swing on a back foot rip. The count is 0-2. So Miami's pitching has been at times hurt by the home run. And that has been the case here tonight. Cano, Cruz, and now Motter. .23 home runs the Marlins have allowed, and that is by far the most in the National League. Philly at 21. So it's by 2. But Philly and the Marlins are way out in front of the pack. Maybe the biggest surprise on that list of National League teams that have given up home runs is the team that has given up the very least. Arizona. That ballpark? Just 9 for Arizona.
It is surprising.
In 13 games. Little roller up first. Boras there to the bag in time. Another run, another homer. This one Taylor Motters. And it's 6-0 Seattle. Top 3 home runs here at Safeco Field. Fox Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run in their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved by visiting foxsportsupports.com. Well, this lefty has been outstanding. But look, think about the guys that the Marlins have faced in the last 3 ball games. Matt Harvey yesterday. Marlins beat the Mets 4-2. Jacob deGrom on Saturday, 5-4 Miami over the Mets. And then Noah Syndergaard on Friday, and Miami beat the Mets 3-2. Now they didn't beat those pitchers or give losses to those pitchers, but they won the ball games. And here is Ariel Miranda, the 28-year-old Cuban, makes his off-season home in Miramar. And he has absolutely dazzled here tonight.
Well, the Marlins, when they're taking strikes, they're falling behind, and when they're being more aggressive, they're putting balls in play and making outs. Miranda has been outstanding at changing his game plan up, throwing his fastball for a strike. And that to me really is the key to this. I mean, it hasn't been this 4-pitch arsenal of dazzling sliders and great split finger fastballs and just dominating the Marlins lineup. It's just about being aggressive, throwing strikes, and getting the Marlins hitters to hit the ball to the shift or to what the game plan is. And that's really what Miranda's done really nicely tonight in a crucial spot. We talked about this at the very beginning.
There's Mel Stottlemyre,
pitching coach. 6 innings from their bullpen last night. I was told there's a couple guys in that bullpen that are probably unavailable tonight. So they were looking for a long start or a longer start for Miranda. And with this 6-0 lead here in the 6th inning, there are only 69 pitches. Mariners have to be thrilled with the way this one's gone.
And by the way, you Yankee fans, that is Mel Stottlemyre Jr.
Yeah.
His father, a major league pitcher and pitching coach as well. Brother Todd, also a big league pitcher. Rojas, that's a fair ball. Seager's throw on a hop, out. It's close, and certainly Miami will look at it, but a really nice play by Kyle Seager. always tough for an umpire when a throw bounces and it didn't have a whole lot of steam coming off the bounce.
Yeah, he catches it off the barrel. Seager does a nice job getting down the line. Ooh, that's close. But it was about the quick release. You see the transfer from the glove to the hand and getting rid of the ball.
Yep, got him.
That was what that was about right there on the one bounce. Able to just get him.
Here's Ichiro now, and he takes a strike. Ichiro bounced to second back in the third. He's going to roll one to that right side, trying to beat Miranda to the bag. Doesn't. And he is out. Boy, this stylish lefty just gets outs, and he gets him in a hurry. His pitch count sits at a very reasonable 72.
Miranda does a nice job getting off the mound right there, but just kind of speaking to the, where this Mariners team is at 5-8, and just took 3 games from the Texas Rangers. They are really in rhythm right now, making plays, spectacular plays. You just saw Seager going down the line, Miranda being on the game, on his game, getting over. Fast runner and Ichiro at the dish. Of course, some power already in tonight's ball game.
Here's Gordon. He's lined out and bounced out. He takes down low.
Miranda's cooled off some hot Marlin hitters tonight.
Gordon, one of those guys. He swings and misses there. The only hit was Christian Yelich, who got one through the right side on a sharp ground ball. And that one goes to the left side. So Gordon singles to left field, and that'll bring up Martin Prado. This ballpark opened in the middle of the season. It's one of the unique things here. Often, I mean, almost all the time, if you open a ballpark, it opens to start a season, but they couldn't quite get the construction to finish before the start of the '99 season, so they opened it mid-season.
Certainly unusual, but I would imagine at that time of year, and this is my opinion, I don't know this, I'm just assuming that during the summer times here, the roof would be open more. This time of year, if you would have opened in April, honestly, the roof probably would be closed just about all of those games. So it, in a weird sort of way, might have worked out that way and benefited them. Because I know how excited everybody in Seattle was about this building and the stadium when it was being built. Kingdome had been talked about as being old and decrepit for a long time.
Well, and there were 2 levels of excitement. There was excitement when this place was open, and there was excitement when they blew the Kingdome up.
This is very true, yes.
And that made way for the Seahawks Stadium across the way.
Get to play in both buildings.
Cracked into center field. Prado has his first hit of the season.
Welcome to 2017, Martin Prado.
And he does it against a lefty, and here comes Yelich now.
Fastball up, rip it into center field, into left center field.
So Yelich with runners first and second. And there is a strike. 2 outs. And Ariel Miranda, a Cuban starter. And if you go way back in the Seattle record books, maybe they taught you this at Newport High School when you were a teenager. The very first starting pitcher in Seattle Mariner history was also a Cuban, Diego Segui.
David Segui's father?
That, I think, I'll have to confirm that with our Seattle sources.
David Segui, I know.
David Segui,
no.
former Oriole and Mariner,
Mm-hmm.
among other teams. But Diego Segui was the opening night pitcher in 1977 when this franchise started. Danny Kaye, the former singer, entertainer.
Saw a mural of him, I believe, on the way in on the wall.
He was one of the original owners in that ownership group. Three balls and a strike. Good hitters count for Yelich.
Big spot right here in this ball game. Marlins looking to get back in it, down 6-0 in the 6th. 2 outs, 3-1 pitch from Miranda. Christian Yelich has a base hit in the ball game already. Gordon, Martin Prado on base.
Yelich fouls it back.
Runners will be in motion with the pitch.
Let's see what Yelich gets. Miranda has used that curveball effectively to lefties. Gordon moving, Prado moving. And Yelich lines one foul.
Snito has done a nice job keeping Miranda aggressive. Not falling in too much love with his secondary pitches, which have, to your point, been good tonight, especially the left-handed hitter. You've seen the breaking ball, you've seen the split finger fastball, kind of acts as a changeup. But he has really stayed with that fastball, especially in a couple of key spots.
Now the 3-2 coming. Yelich drives it right center field. There's a lot of room out there. Haniger under it, and he makes the catch. And Miami gets 2 hits, but leaves them both. Seattle leads it 6-0. A little late night with the fish tonight. Time now for the unlimited baseball break, brought to you by T-Mobile. Trey Mancini is the 3rd player in Major League history to hit 7 home runs in his first 12 big league games. Trevor Story did it last year. And now Trey Mancini.
Well,
that's why he's smiling in that picture, because in his first 12 big league games, he's hit 7 homers. 4 of those have come this year.
well, and there's a story that came out yesterday that I think is worth sharing, and it's an awful lot of fun. So I can't remember the first individual that borrowed it. So he's, as you just said, 7 home runs in his first 12 games.
Tonino out to center. Yelich on patrol. Has it.
It's become a bit of a running joke with the Baltimore Orioles he's been so hot in hitting home runs, his bat is actually being passed around the dugout, and his teammates, 2 teammates, took his bat up there yesterday and homered with it, including, and I can't remember who the other one was, but Manny Machado, who went deep to right field. So he's been so hot, swinging a hot bat, they're like, I got to try this model bat. Goes deep. Manny Machado grabs it, does the exact same thing. So is it the player or is it the bat?
That's a good question. Here's Gerard Dyson.
I mean, we used to do that in Little League all the time. I've never really heard that story at the major league level, but I found it so interesting. The Baltimore Orioles, everybody just started taking his bat up there and hitting home runs with it.
Well, look, you know how particular Ichiro is about his bats. I mean, he travels with a special case, hermetically sealed. Rojas fires to first in time. When Ichiro was here in Seattle, one of our good buddies was his teammate Eduardo Perez. And Eduardo knew Ichiro not only would travel with the bats, he would place them in a specific spot right there, and nobody was to touch them. Everybody knew that because Ichiro was extremely particular about his stuff. Don't touch Ichiro's bat. Well, one day Eduardo decided, to heck with that. He was slumping. He needed a hit. He went to the plate with Ichiro's bat, and before he stepped in, as the story goes, he looked in the dugout. He goes, "Hey, Ichi." He showed him the bat, and Ichiro was not happy. I mean, really not happy, and really bothered.
Right.
Until Eduardo got a hit, and so once he got a hit, Ichiro had to let him use the bat the next time.
And he did.
He did, I believe.
That's a good teammate right there.
I believe he did. But I think he broke it sooner or later.
Well, I know Eddie. Eddie's bigger, and I know Ichiro's bat are a little bit smaller, so he must have been struggling a little bit. But clearly, right, you get a hit with it, you got to take it back up there again. Well, that proves that Ichiro's a good teammate.
He is. But don't mess with his stuff.
Don't take his bat too many times.
Don't take his bat too many times.
Well, just so you know who you're messing with, like I was that guy. I was that guy on most of my teams.
Where you were the guy that would take the bat?
Oh, I would have been Eddie. I would have taken the bat up there, and I would have winked on my way out of the dugout. Said, "Look what I got. You can come out here and get it."
2-2 pitch is fouled out of play.
In fact,
well, then
just on the other side of this wall, I believe, is the Mariners broadcast team.
Right.
Former teammate of mine, Mike Blowers with the Los Angeles Dodgers. I used to do it to him all the time. We can go over there right now and verify it if you want. I used to take his bats. He was a couple. There he is. Hi, Mike.
He's still
angry,
angry,
buddy.
He looks like he's still angry about
Oh,
it.
he's not angry. He had a fantastic season with the Dodgers.
Prado across the diamond in time. Urania goes 1-2-3. There he is.
There he is.
Mike Blowers.
Hi, Mike.
Pride of the University of Washington.
Right. I've had enough.
Three home runs as well. Marlins without a run. They've got 3 hits. Every weekday morning, Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp go head-to-head on the hottest sports topics. Undisputed with Skip and Shannon. Weekdays from 9:30 to noon Eastern only on FS1. Giancarlo Stanton coming to the plate. Marlins in need of some offense. Seattle's bullpen is just starting to stir. Ariel Miranda has been splendid. Right now a 3-hit shutout. And Stanton has popped out twice. This is known as a tough hitter's environment. You have a marine air here up in the Puget Sound. It's damp and it's cold. The dimensions are pretty big. Stanton cracks a ground ball against the shift into right field. And so for hitters, sometimes they could be cranky playing here. But the one thing they've got, Todd Hollinsworth, and you'll appreciate this, they have the darkest of dark hitters' backgrounds. Look how dark that is. I mean, that's where light goes to die on that batter's eye, as they call it. Look how dark it is from this home plate view. And when this place opened in 1999, it was not like that. They had all kinds of problems because they had painted it black, just painted that area black. And the sun, this is, I believe, the furthest north of any ballpark in the country. The sun, as it sets in the northwest, was just murder on that backdrop. And you could paint it black and it would light up because of the sunlight. And so the first few years, they really struggled.
Was it a glossy enamel?
They tried everything. They tried a flat black. They tried every combination. So they went to Boeing. Of course, Boeing, the big airplane
Boeing on the way in.
Boeing's huge up there, right? And the Boeing engineers took a crack at it. They came up because the question was, how do you diffuse the light? How do you keep it from reflecting on whatever's out there? So the Boeing engineers came up with a baffle-like honeycomb type material, just like a honeycomb, gave it a really deep black color, and the light literally goes into that honeycomb and dies. Swing and a miss. Down goes Ozuna. And that's how they solved that problem. So they went from a batter's eye that was a real nuisance to hitters to absolute pitch black. Thank you to Boeing.
Yeah. Trusty hands of Boeing to get it figured out. And you're right, I do remember that. I remember the discussion coming through here, say in the early 2000s, and guys talking about that, talking to a few Mariners players about the issues that they were having with the backdrop.
JT Realmuto has struck out twice.
Even if you look at it now, it almost looks like it has tile, almost like there's tiles up. It doesn't even look like it's painted black. You can see like there's like the lines. You can see those light lines in between. If you look real close, it's almost like they are
panels.
Yeah, they're panels, right?
Baffled material.
Yep, sure enough.
Honeycomb, that's where the queen bee goes, right there.
Let's hope they don't have an infestation of bees anytime soon.
No. That one fouled back to the screen.
I haven't seen it before.
There's Seattle's pen. This is also, as you look at that Seattle pen, right-hander Vincent is up. That is a great spot. This is when they built this park, this was one of the great standing room ballparks. They built standing room by design into this park. That's a shot to third. And Seager's throw across the diamond is not in time. Stanton is back. Realmuto is out. And there's 2 outs.
And the fan base gets to incorporate into the game just a little bit. You see the guys up there enjoying some beverages and taking part in the activity in the bullpen.
And that's all part of that left field spot. Right. That's all restaurants and bars there behind that big scoreboard. And we told you about the pen area to the right of that. All the way down, that's the area. That's the hot spot. When you were 21 or 22, well, in the Northwest, I know you were in the Dodgers. You were 22 when you were the Rookie of the Year, right?
Right.
All right, so you wouldn't have had a chance to go out there and and hang with those folks.
But I mean, you see, I mean, to your point, I think the right word's hang out, and I think that's the atmosphere that they're trying to create, and they have successfully created out there.
Bohr crunches one. Motter dives, gets it, fires to first. Right now, it is all Seattle, 6-0. Past 9 o'clock. If you look at the clock here at Safeco Field, Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. I think, partner, this is a case of don't look at the standings, don't look at the record next to the team's name, just look at how they've played over the last 3 or 4 games. Seattle has really started to swing it. They've had some come from behind wins, and that momentum has kind of spilled into tonight.
Well, that's why you don't get too high or too low at this time of year. You start to play a team like the Mariners. Everybody knows how talented they are, and they've got a few injuries, and they had off to a little bit of a slow start. But when you look at what they've done tonight and the way they're swinging the bats, this is a team that is going to contend this year. There's no doubt about it.
Tom Kohler just didn't have it. He tried to battle, but 3 home runs. And for the Fish, Ariel Miranda has, I mean, look, this is a team that just faced the best the Mets have. And beat them 3 out of 4, but Ariel Miranda has been magnificent.
Yeah, he has been magnificent, attacking the strike zone. 21 hitters, throwing strikes to 15 of those 21 hitters. Just an absolutely great job.
Robinson Cano to second base.
Tom Kohler struggled with those lefties, unfortunately, again tonight. 4 for 8, 2 doubles, a home run, a couple walks. The lefties for the Mariners able to do significant damage in this ball game. You see JT Riddle in at shortstop.
Riddle in at shortstop. I think what the Marlins are doing here is giving Martin Prado the rest of the night off with a hamstring injury. And so Miguel Rojas ends up at third base. Nelson Cruz the hitter with 1 out. And it's 2-0. Two and 1. So Riddle is in. And by the way, the Marlins did make a move before the ball game. Riddle had the dramatic home run. There's a swing and a miss. But the Marlins designated for assignment Tyler Moore to make room for Martin Prado. The hope is that Moore clears waivers and will hang with the Marlins in the minor leagues and hopefully get another shot here.
Tyler Moore had a very nice run with this team. 4 for 11. A couple of big pinch hits.
A Marlins tumbler can be yours on the 29th of April. First 7,000 fans will get it courtesy of Aquafina. It's the Pirates and the Marlins. The all-you-can-eat seats are in play as well. Go to Marlins.com for tickets.
Scores from around baseball. St. Louis Cardinals, Pittsburgh Pirates. Cardinals up, winning this one 2-1. Atlanta Braves, as you said a little earlier, walk-off win against San Diego 5-4. Milwaukee beat the Cubs 6-3, and in that game, guy you brought up yesterday, Marcus Thames, homered again, 5 straight for him.
Marcus Thames is coming from the Korean League.
He showed some serious power in tonight's ball game. Home run to left center field.
Seager fouls it off. As the story goes, they never even sent a scout to see him. They just watched some of the tape from his
well, let me check that too. I
exploits in the Korean League.
I think I said Marcus Thames. I should have said Eric Thames is his name, right? Former Toronto Blue Jay, goes to Korea, has been over there for a few years, is now back, to your point, and on fire.
The one thing I want to know, because it's one of the things I really love about the Korean League, did he bring a bat flip with him? I mean, that's, if you really want, for fun tonight, just Google Korean bat flips, and there's endless loops of and the best ones are guys that hit him out and they're foul and they flip the bat out, you know, I mean, fling it all the way to the on deck circle,
right,
and the ball's 20 feet foul.
Well, my best guess is that he's back and having success,
but no bat flips.
I don't think you see them yet. Maybe if he continues on this stretch for a little while, we'll see a few.
All right, Rojas makes the catch there. Urania has settled in. It's 6-0 still, Seattle. Game summary. It's not been pretty for the Fish. Robinson Cano, don't you know, that's 440 feet of home run. This is 410. And I think they're still counting on Taylor Motters. That's upper tank. That's been the story tonight. Tom Kohler started. Jose Urania relieved. Ariel Miranda retired the first 11 batters. Miranda goes 7 innings, and Miranda exits the ball game. And for the first time, Seattle goes to their bullpen. Nick Vincent. He was a San Diego Padre last time the Marlins saw him. Mariners got him in exchange for a player to be named later or cash. Not Dave Cash.
Brilliant job by Miranda tonight. No walks, 5 strikeouts, only 4 hits.
Or Norm,
7 strong innings.
Norm Cash. Well, the only Cash players I know are older major leaguers from a different generation.
Johnny?
No. It's got to be a younger Cash that we can mix into that joke. Vincent delivers to Rojas, who fouls it back. Miguel Rojas, Ichiro, and D. Gordon. Now, Seattle's bullpen was really good against the Texas Rangers. In fact, they went 6 innings yesterday. But on the season, their numbers are skewed rather high.
They're awful.
6.31 ERA. But again, as we talked about, don't look at the record. Don't look at the 2 weeks in whole. Look at where they've been lately.
Well, and it's not the talent. You know, looking at their bullpen, they've got 3 or 4 guys down there that 97, 98 miles an hour. Some really big arms, especially at the end. And Edwin Diaz and Altavilla, he's also got a very big arm. But the point is that the opportunity to get into that bullpen that had been struggling was there. And I really think that that's a bit of a missed opportunity with Miranda going tonight. All things considered, Marlins would love to have gotten into that bullpen under some different circumstances tonight.
Scott Service. Pitch misses up, and the count's 3-2. As we said from the outset, this is a team everybody expects to get in the 80s in terms of wins, upper 80s, and if things fall right, maybe the lower 90s. They had a 10-game improvement last year and won 86 games. Ramos off the end of the bat floats it out into left. Mater is there, and he runs it down. So Nick Vincent gets the first out. Late night with the Fish tomorrow night, Twitter Tuesday. We'll do emails and tweets. And your starters weigh in Chen and Giovanni Gallardo. Neither pitcher has a very pretty ERA, but both pitchers have had success in the big leagues. Marlins obviously hoping that Chen can get it together. Ichiro, 88-mile-an-hour fastball, and it's 0-1.
Chant has broken out here in Seattle. Nick Vincent throws him a changeup right there. You see the fastball, 89, 90 miles an hour. Throw his cut fastball as well. That's his secondary pitch. An occasional changeup. Tries to throw it to Ichiro right there.
Counts 0-2. Well, you know, if you have followed the Marlins on television for a while, when we're on the West Coast, late night with the Fish takes a little different feel and vibe from a regular telecast. And you know that if you stay up late with this, we always give the kids a treat. And so I think it's time for a treat after this Ichiro at bat. As Ichiro fouls back into the fastball, and it's 0-2. Ichiro tonight has bounced to second both times. Fans here gave him a loud and long standing ovation when he came to the plate. There's an Ichiro fan with a Team Japan cap on. Ichiro bounces it up the middle. Cano again. All right, you were talking about Eric Thames, and we didn't think he did bat flips. He doesn't. But here's a home run with the Korean call of one of his home runs as a Milwaukee Brewer.
Let's check it out.
So now the fans in Korea, there's great baseball in Korea. Not quite at the level of Japan, but it's getting closer. Those fans are starting to follow Thames right now. So, you know, much like we see a lot of the Japanese media around Ichiro, there's a lot of them following Thames in Milwaukee. And just in the last few years, Korea has put more hitters in the big leagues than Japan has, and some really good ones. So that'll be interesting to watch that story unfold in Milwaukee. 0-2 pitch to D. Gordon. Swing and a miss. Vincent goes in with a fastball, and it has been a tough night for Miami tonight. The app, you can see it on your screen, and if you want to bring your app to life, just go to MLB.com. TV Premium, #1 live streaming sports service available. Watch every out-of-market game as the Major League Baseball season unfolds. Blackout, other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Here's Motter, who just absolutely cranked one. And he hits that one to left field, hits it deep. Ichiro back at the wall. Ichiro leaps and he got it in flying Ichiro fashion. Left field is not a field that he has played a lot. Obviously right field, some center, very rarely left, though he has played it with Miami.
Well, you see Ichiro get to the wall, does a nice job timing it, and then realizes, oh, almost like Marcell Ozuna the other day, that ball's going to stay in. Nice job, gets himself extended and able to secure the catch.
He put that right foot out, feeling for the wall, and it never arrived.
Well, he was anticipating, I think what happened there was that he thought he was going to have to go over the wall and bring it back, and he realized that the ball was just had so much hang time it was going to stay in the yard. Urania very appreciative of that catch.
Without question, and I think Don Mattingly very appreciative of Urania because Tom Kohler goes 4 innings, and Urania working here in his 4th inning. Stanton is there and he makes the catch. And obviously there's no off day from yesterday to today. That grueling 4-game series with the Mets, with the 16-inning game and all the 1-run games and walk-offs and all of that. So to have Urania come in here, and if he can finish this inning without getting anybody up, that's a really nice plus And for Miami, they hope that that pays off tomorrow night and Wednesday afternoon. Here's Martin.
Martin with a base hit tonight. 1 for 3 and stolen base. For Urania, 50 pitches, almost through 4 innings. He's done a very nice job being efficient, throwing strikes. And that's just it. Talked about the growth and the learning curve this year for Urania. How is he going to be better? Get more of an increased role. These innings are very, very valuable to manager Don Mattingly.
Martin out in front. The count's 1-2. And Urania goes 4 strong. Gives up just the 1 run. But Miami is down to their last 3 outs here. It's 6-0 Seattle. Baseball, Fox Sports Florida, brought to you by Southwest Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide, and by your South Florida Honda dealers. Now that is a big, big wheel down on the water.
Use that for the ferry boats? No.
Well, you can see the ferry boats, and that's how big that wheel is.
I thought maybe a double.
Coors Cold Hard Fact, brought to you by Coors Light. 17 of the first 20 games are against the American League West. 13 straight, 7 on the road. Now that's a cold hard fact, but not as cold as the Mets hard fact. The Mets have 32 to begin the season against the National League East. But it is colder here, it feels.
See Evan Scribner coming in to get some work.
Scribner arrives, pitcher number 2 out of the bullpen. Moose, but no squirrel. Just moose. The Mariner Moose. Beloved by many. JT Riddle is at the plate. What a different feeling this at bat is to yesterday's at bat, and what an incredible moment for this guy. Riddle enjoying his first week in the big leagues. Of course, the Marlins just had the winning run thrown out at the plate, and you thought, oh my goodness, the opportunity to win the game in walk-off fashion was lost. Riddle came to the plate, and he hit a homer to right. This was the moment.
There we go. Let's see it one more time.
Addison Reed, a guy that the Marlins had done not much against in their short history against him. Riddle hits it out and is mobbed.
Well, the great part about that story, and I can't remember who had given him the piece of advice, he talked about it in the post-game show, the game plan.
Yelich left field, opposite field, and that's getting out. Christian Yelich blasts one to left. Miami's on the board, and Yelich has his 3rd home run of the season. So that's a bright spot for Miami on a night where not much has gone well offensively.
See Christian Yelich jump on a first pitch fastball, looks away, hits away, drives it out. That's no easy feat for a left-handed hitter. Safeco Field. Made me think right off the top of the developing power, developing conversation about Christian Yelich and his future in this game, how bright it is.
Stanton fouls it off.
I'll finish that story on JT Riddle. For those who don't know, was given a piece of advice before walking into that at bat against Addison Reed. Was told about the cut fastball, 92, 93. It's Addison Reed's bread and butter, throws it an awful lot. So the key is to allow the pitch to get into the zone. You don't want to go out and get it. A lot of times he'll throw it away to a left-handed hitter, and he sat back and he looked to pull, and you saw in that, gets the cut fastball just a little bit out over the plate and deposits it in the right field seats for his first big league home run, a walk-off home run, special moment for him. Sometimes the best game plans, the ones you get about 5 seconds before you get in the box.
Here's Ozuna.
You know,
I believe it was Ozuna that gave him some of that advice.
It might have been Ozuna, right? I couldn't remember who it was, but I remember hearing it because he was talking about it and said that it was really as simple as just going up there and executing a game plan. You know, throw the iPad out. I don't need to see shifts or sequences. Go up there, look for a pitch, and get it. I remember Tim Wallach used to tell me early on in my career, bench coach, former teammate of mine for the Marlins, said, give me a piece of advice, and he'd say, swing hard.
Ozuna, I think he went. No. Mike Winters didn't want to end the night like that.
No.
Scribner, who spent most of his career in the American League West, a long time with Oakland.
Ozuna shoots it foul.
Ozuna tonight has lined out and struck out twice. On a day he was named the National League Player of the Week. Miami has had that award twice. Realmuto and Ozuna.
Talking to Mike Pagliarulo and Frank Menachino before the game, I said, who's the hitter of the week this week? I said, you've created a very high standard.
Seager got him. And Seattle takes game one, and they do it emphatically. Ariel Miranda, 7 innings, did not give up a run. And of course, the big bats for Seattle were out in force. Robinson Cano, Nelson Cruz, and Taylor Motter, all with home runs. And this Mariner team all of a sudden has gotten it together. A team many expect to challenge for the division title is now 6-8, having won 4 straights. Marlins Live is coming up. Jessica Blaylock live from the field.